Does the gentlewoman from California wish to be recognized?
I would reserve the right to object, and I will explain why I, in fact, do object. In the past, members of this committee on both sides of the aisle have required the reading of bills and amendments because they were unhappy or mad, and that's not the case in this instance. I'm mindful, however, that this amendment was distributed for the very first time Monday night. In fact, my staff pulled an all-nighter in order to put together amendments by the 10 a.m. deadline. The public doesn't even know, in many cases, what's in this amendment. We had a hearing a month ago. We haven't even received the answers to the questions that we were permitted to submit. We've had one hearing, and at that hearing there was only one witness permitted to testify in opposition to the measure. We've had no subcommittee markups, and I think just in the interest of transparency for the public, we ought to have an airing of what is in this manager's amendment. I understand that it's not a pleasure since we have read it, I have read it, but I think for the public's sake, it is necessary. I'm mindful in the 90s, when I was a member of this committee, when we fomented the DMCA, we spent years, I mean, hundreds of hours working on this measure. This is being jammed through in 2 months' time. So I do object to waiving the reading of the amendment.
Could the gentlelady yield?
I would be happy to yield.
Thank you. Well, we're happy to learn that you're not mad or unhappy. That's a relief, because we could have
I remember Phil Burton's advice, be happy in your work.
All right. Now that we got that much out of the way, is the gentlelady suggesting, because there were no subcommittee markup, that there ought to be a postponement of this hearing today and that we come back and look at it later?
I think that would be a preferable approach, frankly. But as I am not the chair of the committee, that is not, it is not my opportunity to set the schedule. All I can do is object to waiving the reading of the...
Would the gentlelady yield?
I would be happy to yield to my colleague.
I thank the gentlelady, and I join with her in expressing that the manager's amendment is, in fact, so substantially different, and I applaud the chairman for making some of the changes that I think in such a short period of time became recognized. But only an hour ago, KeepTheWebOpen.com published SOPA for the first time so that the public could begin looking at it in an interactive way. There are 60 or more amendments that will be offered here over the next 2+ days. Those amendments should go on the web, they should be understood, and we should have a hearing on the basis of the now new proposed legislation and many of the amendments that would substantially improve the bill. If we did that, if we allowed, if you will, the Christmas season to allow for this kind of airing, held a hearing with technical experts, including, for example, Secretary Napolitano's own brother from Sandia Lab, who made it clear that the current bill does not have technology that would effectively provide DNS blocking. And, oh, by the way, the new bill, only safe haven is still that same DNS blocking. That's just one of many examples. So I join with the gentlelady that I believe we need to slow down and give not just the public, but the technology public, the vast technology public that will be impacted by this, an opportunity. I, for one, would make sure that every one of my amendments and every amendment I have any control over were made equally public at KeepTheWebOpen.com so that we could begin evaluating how to get to the right solution to protect against piracy, which is the one thing on both sides of and both rows of the dais we agree on. I thank the gentlelady.